our business model to date has been mostly affiliate marketing model. So we work with 40 different retailers, from Nike to Adidas to Foot Locker to ASOS to New Balance, and we drive those guys traffic and revenue. So we drive those brands, let's say 40 different retailers and brands, over 60 million a year annually in revenue to them.
Say like someone wanted to start a similar business in a different industry and they've got no experience and limited cash. How do you think they get from like zero to something profitable?
So I will say that
Yo, my people, welcome back to the Venture Room, the #1 platform for aspiring entrepreneurs. So today we've got the king of kicks himself, Mr. George Sullivan, the CEO of the Sole Supplier, which has generated over £60 million with some of the biggest trainer brands like Nike, Puma, the lot. So yeah, really happy to have him on board. How you doing, man?
that's a big intro. The king of kicks.
King of kicks himself.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be called that by some people, but maybe when we first started, I'd be called the king of kicks. Yeah.
So who's got the most knowledge in your team in terms of like trainers and stuff?
And we've got a team of like passionate sneakerheads.
Yeah.
And there's people in that team that have a lot more knowledge than me. And I think doing this for 10 years, that's just a life cycle, right?
Yeah,
it's kind of I came into this game when I was like 20, 21. I knew everything from the age of like 19 up to the age of like 27.
Yeah.
And then my knowledge dwindled a little bit. To like the average person on the street, my knowledge is still like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to sneakerheads in the office that we work in, there's some of them now that openly laugh sometimes when I make certain comments. Yeah. Dill, shout out you if you're watching, and Emily still, who's been with us a long time, she'll laugh sometimes because her knowledge is still great. But what you find is, even Emily as an example, she's changed role. And she's not as on the ground anymore in the community.
Okay.
She's now a product manager. So her role has changed slightly and her knowledge has changed slightly. It's like mine. When I started doing a bit less content and more development stuff, my knowledge changed. So the king of kicks, nice title, but
well, just to say, I'm not a sneakerhead. I've got zero knowledge. Like, not gonna lie, I bought a few Zara trainers. Like,
it doesn't matter what I say here. Then I can just make stuff up, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, that's cool."
It's all good, man. So I want to take you right back to life before Sole Supplier. So where did you grow up? What kind of? I know you're a London boy.
Yeah, grew up in South London, and I grew up listening to like a lot of hip hop and rap. Like that was the early 2000s, late 90s. I think we're a similar age, right?
Yeah.
So like it was all about hip hop and rap, albums with parental advisory explicit lyrics on the front that my mum and dad didn't want to buy, and my best pal Dan, who I'm still good pals with now and I work with, right, his mum was like, you better not have any of those albums, and my mum would buy us a few of those parental advisory albums. But in all of those, in all of the videos on like Kiss TV, on like Channel U, MTV Base, everyone's wearing trainers, right? Like white Air Forces were prolific, Jordans were prolific. So I'm just seeing this constantly. I know all the words to a lot of the tunes. I'm watching music channels.
It's part of the culture,
Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, it just sunk in. I didn't even know how much it sunk in. Like, it was crazy, the influence that had on me and how much that love for that music had on. I remember
back in, remember when 50 Cent was like the big thing back in primary school days, and he released his G-Unit sneakers. Everyone was rushing to get them, man. Like when I got it, I was so gassed.
Yes, bro. Yeah, the G-Unit sneakers, you're so right as well.
Sick.
I can't believe he actually, because they kind of, did they look like an Air Force One almost? I feel like they were a low, I think. Like, yeah, 50 was into everything, wasn't it? He still is.
Yeah, but he was like the biggest thing ever back in primary school, man.
Yeah, man, I still love 50. I saw him in when he came to, I think, Wembley.
Oh, yeah.
And his show was all right.
Yeah.
He's
a bit slower now.
He had a band.
Is it?
Yeah. And like, when you're listening to all the old beats, you're listening, you're not thinking about them with a band.
Yeah. I don't know if it hits the same with a band.
It doesn't hit the same with a band, but it was still good. But yeah, it was all about that culture, that era, and it still is. Like it's that never leaves me. Like I still love all of that music, and I find it harder sometimes to connect with some of the newer artists. I'm still a bit stuck in the past with some of them. Yeah.
Because I just feel we're getting old though.
I don't know.
I hope not.
This is what all older people say, right? They'll say that was the best era for music.
Yeah.
And I almost think that's the heart and soul and passion and truth in some of that music.
Yeah.
It was raw, it was honest, it was true.
Yeah.
Nowadays, some of the music is a lot more, it's just like, it's phony, some of it, man.
I think the content was a bit harder back then. Like, it was more of a story. Like,
it was more of a story.
You know, more visual in terms of the lyrics.
And you could connect with that so much more. And it was like, some of it was like, it's like, yeah, there's been these struggles, right? But we're trying to improve ourselves and get better and be better versions of ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's what everyone can connect to that. It doesn't matter where you're from or what, like, you can connect to that. I want to try and be better.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, I think we're in an era where there's like a lot of kind of music that's portraying like this. It doesn't portray that. It portrays like kind of bad behavior in a lot of it openly. And that doesn't sit right with me, but we've gone well off track there.
Back to the sneakers.
Yeah, man.
No, I was just thinking about back in the day, like I think secondary school. Remember when everyone used to do the colour matching? It's like the laces match.
What, you don't still do that? Bro, have you seen what I'm wearing today?
Oh, no.
I'm still out here colour matching.
No, we did it bad, man. We had like the cubic zirconia earrings.
Yeah.
Matched the t-shirt, matched the laces.
Yeah.
Like, some of my MySpace pictures were embarrassing.
So you, MySpace as well. So you matched your earrings with your...
So it'll be like a purple earring.
Yeah.
With maybe like a purple t-shirt.
Oh, this is wild. We need pictures.
I'm gonna put them up. Yeah,
that's good shit, man.
But that is embarrassing, man. So, so did you have any like businesses when you were younger? Then, like,
yeah, the first thing I did was, which I learned from a few older kids in my school, and actually a good friend of mine, Bav, in my year. I haven't spoke to Bav in years, so shout out Bav because he inspired me with this. It was selling CDs. We used to download music off of certain platforms, and then sell CDs at school.
Oh yeah,
and that was short lived, but
you could burn them on like multiple,
burning CDs in like the tower.
Yeah,
like when my mum got a computer, I was like, please get one with a CD burner. And she got one with a CD burner, and that was what I did for a bit.
Yeah.
But so that was the first hustle at like maybe 15 years old at school. Mad. It didn't last long.
Yeah. My friend used to do that, and then I think MP3s came out, and it's like, we don't need you anymore. Like
that.
Yeah.
You know how quickly that changed?
It was mad.
And what always happens is it's like you get people stuck on the old thing. It's like, so I tell this story. My dad didn't get into the mobile phone era.
Yeah.
And he missed 2 or 3 opportunities because he said people will never use mobile phones like that. Yeah. And
was he a businessman in the industry?
He wasn't, but he had opportunities to get into it. People were like, Pete, mobile phones are going to be the next biggest thing. He's like, I don't need one. I've got my landline.
Oh,
I've got this. They're that big. That's crazy. That's never going to work.
Yeah.
And the name of the Netflix book is That Will Never Work, because it's always the same with ideas. It's like people, when something is such a leap, they fail to see how significant it is until they look back.
Yeah.
And so this is going on right now with AI.
100%.
Yeah. People are now failing to see the opportunity with AI. And in 5 years, certain people are going to be looking back like, why did I pass up on that opportunity? It happens constantly.
But what I would say is with the crypto, I think crypto comes up on every episode, but that was like a bubble that people really got burnt with.
Yeah.
So I feel like with AI, people are a bit skeptical to jump in and start like.
Yeah, so we went in on crypto. It's like a crypto division of the Sole Supplier.
Okay.
Because like our audience and community are a big part of how we've been successful. And we wanted to reward our community with some blockchain incentives.
Yeah.
And like, like looking after the community and building incentives into that using Web3 and blockchain.
Yeah.
And crypto as a part of that.
Yeah.
I think like crypto and coins fell down.
Yeah.
But blockchain as a technology, decentralized tech, is still very important.
Yeah.
But it has been so attached to crypto that it's the bubble burst a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So you saying you think AI could have a bit of that? I think a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some great stuff that comes out of AI and some that's just a big hype right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to do stuff with it.
It's a huge opportunity, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think with these opportunities, with something so significant, you have to leave your ego at the door and just try it for a bit before you pass judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you said with the MP3s, or my dad with the mobile phones, or me with the internet.
Yeah.
it's like I tried everything with the internet and then eventually built the Sole Supplier because I saw that was the opportunity. And I just think
100%.
you don't want to be looking back at 30, 40, 50 regretting that you missed it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. That's a topic we want to get into later as well. Yeah, really interesting. So just before you started the business, I saw that you did a bit of like reselling on eBay. How did that go? Was that a good hustle?
Yeah. So eBay was the platform at the time. I used to go, one of the first eBay hustles was going to charity shops in all different areas and looking for designer items to then take home and sell on eBay.
Well, they had designer items
in some.
Is it?
You have to search for a while. And so I can confirm this still to this day, right? Because I went to my local charity shop the other day. I took 5 bags of clothes. It was a full circle moment.
Yeah.
I was taking clothes there that I'd acquired over the years. 5 bags of it. And I was like, wow, this is mad. I remember when I used to come to charity shops like this looking for designer items. And I was giving them some designer items.
Really?
But what they said they do with it now is they sell them themselves.
Oh, okay.
On eBay. So, but back in the day, like 10, 12 years ago, it was easier to find stuff that they didn't recognize that had value.
Yeah.
So now the problem is the internet's just made everything obvious.
Yeah.
And they're so competitive. So now the charity shops, like, we may as well sell and get some more money for the charity.
That's true.
But that was like a good eBay hustle. And then it was like buying bags of vintage clothes. Like you'd buy like kilograms of vintage clothes and sell it.
Yeah.
And then it eventually turned into buying trainers and reselling. Like I could buy 3 or 4 pairs from like certain shops. I won't mention their names, but like 10 years ago. And they'd still be there in the shops, and you could go home and put them on eBay, wear 1 pair, and people would buy them from different places in the world.
Oh, man.
Because again, like the internet wasn't as popping as it was now for that type of thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know because the one in my area's got like old, like shit clothes basically.
Yeah.
But I guess if you go to like Chelsea, Kensington, you'll get like the better stuff.
Yeah, you're thinking exactly how I was. Yeah, that's it. Like certain charity shops. Yeah, also in certain like places in Kent, and there's like some nice little places, like people just are putting stuff in there, you know.
Oh, really?
It's random. It's worth a look, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's huge, man. I had a little hustle as well at school. I used to I basically bought like replica 1-to-1 copies from Alibaba in China. Like the replica, like Nikes or the Air Forces, used to sell them in school. They're like, oh, what, £30 for Air Forces? Yeah, man, I'll take it.
Yeah. Here's the authenticity card.
Used to do it on my printer.
Like it, yeah.
But I used to make quite a bit of money for that. Which
I
good.
bet. Yeah. I bet that was a good hustle. Yeah. Until everyone found out.
Yeah. They were pissed.
Yeah.
So what was like the first job then that you had after school? Like, or did you go straight into business?
Yeah. So the first job I had was working in an SEO agency. So it was a company that sold SEO to try and get you to number 1 organically. And it was kind of the second job I had, but the first one was a bit like, it was not even worth talking about really, but that was another sales job as well. First actual job I had that I stayed in for more than 3 months, I stayed at this place for like 9 maybe, was SEO, selling those services.
So you must have enjoyed doing the job, yeah?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, some people might be like, you enjoyed it only for 9 months, but it was just like, I was just raggo at the time, wanted to leave.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot there. I learned the power of Google. I learned how to sell. I learned what it's like to be in a small startup environment and have to listen to people and listen to authority, which was tough for me. But I quite like the people I was working with.
You were a rebel when you were younger? Then?
Yeah. Okay. Didn't like authority, man. And
really?
Had a big problem with authority for whatever reason from when I was younger.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been something I've had to work on.
But you're quite naughty at school as well.
Yeah. I moved around primary schools loads, and my parents got me into a private secondary school with help from a charity place. So it was like they paid a bit, and then the charity place paid a fair bit.
Okay,
yeah. And then, so that was like a really good opportunity after moving around primary schools. It's different to a scholarship. Scholarships where they fully pay for it and you're one of the smartest kids. This was just more like, there's different charities that will support parents who want to give their child a good opportunity. Wow. So I got this good opportunity after having some crazy primary school experience. because I got diagnosed with ADHD at 6.
Really?
My parents took me to this place in Surrey, and they were like, "You've got ADHD, clearly, quite rife. Like you know, you need tablets." My parents didn't give me the tablets.
So does that mean you couldn't like focus on things for too long, or like?
Yeah, man. No, it just led to just complete bad behavior, hyperactivity, lack of focus in school. Teachers just being like, "This guy's out of control."
But I think a lot of kids don't get diagnosed, and they're just seen as like naughty kids.
I think so. I think the good thing is now it's becoming more clear. Like, I don't like labels a lot of the time. I think now the kind of establishment, the government and the system has got a label for every single thing.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be detrimental to people. But I do think it's helpful when you kind of understand, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You don't understand it as a kid.
Yeah.
But as you get older, if you understand that your natural tendencies are impulsivity, hyperactivity, and therefore lack of focus, and you understand the things that can improve all of those things, you can help yourself.
Yeah.
So I do think that kind of it does help a little bit, but we have to be careful. I think in that note. But they gave me that opportunity to get into that school, and then I ended up getting kicked out of it at 17 or 16, and that was fucking painful.
Really?
Yeah, man. Because like, I'm their only child, right? And they tried to give me the best opportunity, and struggled to do it, and I threw it away. Not deliberately, because I was just chaos. Yeah.
And also that time is really critical, isn't it, to like your whole life?
Yeah. And I was just at school, like 15, 16, smoking weed, going out partying, acting like I'm the king of the world, and not caring about my parents' dreams or ambitions. For me, I would say, I don't like to say they wanted to live anything through me. It wasn't like that. They weren't like, you must do this. But they had hopes and dreams for their only son. And I've gone out and I've decided that my vision is party time at 15.
Brilliant, man.
Like, that's it. Like, you hear it, like London, like everyone's like, a lot of kids having a puff at school. Right? When you're in London, living in London.
But even like the gang culture is quite, especially at that age, is really critical. Like, you could have easily gone down the wrong path and followed the wrong people. Like,
but I went down that wrong path in my own way. Like, in that school, I was linking up with kids from other schools that were also a bit mad, a bit crazy. So it wasn't down the gang path, but it was just down the raggo kind of partying, being like getting in too many detentions and being crazy at school, which led to me getting asked to leave. You know, like, I've had some tough times over the last 10 years in my own life. And I've had a few good friends around me who have been like loyal enough and put their own agenda aside to just put their thing on the line and say, I'm going to help you. You need to do this because this is going to be better for you in this way. And I won't go into too much details about that. I guess what I'm trying to say now is that sometimes people don't have enough truly loyal friends that have minimal agenda and just want the best for you. And I think if you find them like you did at that age, you need to cultivate them from early, because cultivate them's the wrong word, but look after them, see the value in that, you know? Because so many people don't have that.
It's so true. Because also I had like loads of people around me, but only had maybe 2 or 3 actual like people that would be there for me, whatever. So you need to look after those people.
You reflect back on those moments where a good friend has kind of come to help you. So like, they've seen your personality change for whatever reason. They've seen you're going through a time and they go, look, I've seen this. I've noticed these things. I'm here for you. This is what we can do. And I've done it with some of my friends now. Like, I pride myself on being someone that if my friend's in trouble, I will be there for you. Like, that's it. If you're my friend, I'm going to look after you. I'm going to make sure that I'm there for you if you need it, whether that's emotionally, financially, whatever it is. Like,
but there's not a lot of people like that, you know. Like, a lot of people say they're your friends, but they're not there when times are tough. So,
when it suits them.
I feel like we got quite deep there.
Yeah, it's important though.
Okay, so in the story, so you're part of this agency, and then you got kicked out. How did you feel when you got kicked out?
Part of the SEO agency.
Did you get
No,
fired?
I didn't. I just left, man. I didn't get. I'll be real with you. I had 10 jobs from the age of 17 to 24. I don't think I got fired from one of them.
Good.
I left them.
Okay.
I was close to getting fired to a lot of them. But I sensed they were going to fire me at some point because I was chaos in these jobs. And then I'd I'd leave. So it was kind of like I was always edging towards running a business on my own. Yeah, running a business on my own, basically.
Okay, cool.
That's the cleaner.
Yeah, a bit of background noise there.
Yeah.
So then, you left the agency, and then what happened?
Yeah, I couldn't stick with these jobs. And then I got a job at like Yellow Pages. I got a job selling ads in a magazine, another different magazine. It was all sales. It was all about sales. I learned everything from that. Talking to people, selling, all of it.
But I think that's a good point. Like a lot of people think, oh, let me just start a business straight out of school. And it's like, no, get into a company, learn the skills you need, and then use that in your business after.
Yeah. I think getting a range of experience is everything. Yeah. Like, so I look back on what I did now. I was getting bored quickly, but ultimately I just wanted to try new things.
Yeah.
And I thought there was better for me out there. So I had hopes and ambitions of my own, and I had the attention span of a gnat to go and leave jobs left, right, and center. So the hope and ambition got me into new jobs.
Yeah.
I learned new skills. And over those 10 jobs, I gathered loads of skills and I understood what I liked and what I disliked. And I think you can play it too safe. And then you get to a point, like some people I know, they're 27, 28, and they're like, I've done one job and I don't actually know what other things I like. I wish I'd tried a bit more. And some of them might have got a partner at the time. They might even be thinking about having children. And at that point, they need security. So they're less likely to try things. So the beauty of life is trying to do as many things as you can early, not at the detriment of your finances and your people. If you leaving a job is going to mean that your wife, your partner's going to be on the ground, don't do that. But try as much as you can within your realm is what I always like to say.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess it was a bit of a jump for you because you wouldn't have had a stable income coming in.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Like I used to walk out of jobs, and sometimes my dad would see me. I walked up the high street one day after being in a job for 2 weeks. He saw me on the local high street, and he was like, "What are you doing here, man? At lunchtime? Why are you here?" Yeah, I'm like, "Why are you here?"
Yeah.
And it's like a standoff, like a Western. It's like, "Why are you here?" And he's looking at me and I'm like, "You're going to the pub, aren't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay, I'm coming with you." And then we end up, this is like what this was going on with my dad at like 19, 20. I'm like sitting in the pub with my dad at lunch, having left the job. And then we get on and we have a great chat.
Yeah.
But ultimately he was just like, "You need to sort yourself out, son, because you need to get yourself on track," whilst also having a laugh with my dad. So there were some great moments in that.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's good he understood that you were trying to find yourself.
Yeah, he did, because he kind of knew what he was like, and I had a lot of his personality traits.
Okay.
So as much as he was like a hard worker, he would also like change different jobs as he got find the next best thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I didn't feel like I was cut out for the 9-to-5 world. I found a job I loved in recruitment with some great leaders. And that was the one that I eventually had to leave because I started the Sole Supplier there.
Okay, cool.
So for me, it was just all about trying different things, improving myself slowly, understanding that the party life and the lack of training and the bad food that I was eating wasn't working for me. And then when I got into that recruitment job, I was at a point where I was able to, like, at 21, 22, optimize my life to perform in recruitment, to hit my targets, to feel good, to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
I stopped drinking for like 18 months because I had had enough at that point. So I'd done so much trial and error by that point, and I'm still doing it to this day, right? 10 years on, that I knew what I needed to do, which was save money, save my time, and create more energy. So that meant stopping drinking, saving everything I could, selling stuff on eBay, making commissions, and then sacrificing going out. And every evening I'd come home, I'd be on the computer looking for things to do.
But in your early 20s, that's easier said than done, isn't it? It's like, I do want to go out on the weekend. I do want to go at beef or whatever. But it's sacrificing those early years to then enjoy the later ones.
Yeah. And like, I did do a lot. I mean, I've lived the life from the age of 16 to 32.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of good stuff, man. And when people say, like, over the last 10 years, I've drunk for 5 of them, and the other 5 I've been sober.
Is it?
Yeah. On and off. Not 5 years consistently.
Yeah.
In that time, I've had some absolutely brilliant moments, and I've had some absolutely low, crazy moments. And but I've lived a life in that time.
Yeah.
But one thing is that when you've had that time off and you know what it's like to be at your peak, which is like training, eating right, sleeping right, and not drinking, you feel absolutely golden. If you do that for a long period of time, that is like peak. And you always want to get back there. If you fall off, you're like, I need to get back to that place.
Yeah. So because obviously I follow you on Instagram, like you perform at a high level in terms of, you seem like you've got your whole life mapped out. You do the fitness, you do wellness stuff. So I want to get into that a bit later on actually and find out a few tips and stuff. But before that, in terms of the launch story, what was it like launching the Sole Supplier?
Yeah. So I would come home every night after recruitment, working 8 till 6. It's quite a long day. I'd try and get away every time at 6 o'clock, but they always wanted you to stay late because that was the culture. The people that stay late are the people that succeed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in recruitment, it was like that. People that get in early are the people that win. I'm like, I'm just going to do my hours and hit my targets. And that's what I did, right? Most of the time. And then I'd come home and I'd work on the computer. I'd look for things on the internet. I'd learn how to build WordPress websites. I'd sit on Photoshop and try things out.
Yeah.
So that was what I was spending my evenings doing. And then I just saw the opportunity, which was, I'm going to different websites to find out information about shoes and where to buy them. I know loads from Twitter and how to acquire them. I've been doing it a year, buying for myself and to resell. I know how to set up websites. I know roughly how to get them ranking. And I love Twitter. I'm on it every day, right? I should just set up a site. And it was just like that penny drop moment. I remember reading a book called The Book of Entrepreneur's Wisdom. And the chapter in there was the Nike slogan, "Just do it." And it said, most businesses don't start because people don't start. You know, most ideas don't get off the ground because people don't start the ideas. And that's the biggest barrier to business. And that just resonated with me because I had been toying with the idea and I saw that. I was like, it's time.
Yeah.
And that tipped me over the edge. So that's like the power of reading and people sometimes. It's like someone can say something, you read something, and it's what you need to get started, you
100%, know? So that's so we put out a lot of motivational content and you never know what's going to trigger people to start. But it's constantly topping that up, I think is really key.
Yeah, get as much inspiration as you can. Some people say, I hate when people say, you don't need to read. I've never read a book in my life. I'm like, that's not good advice.
You're an idiot.
Because everyone needs inspiration from somewhere. You can get that from a book, you can get that from a place, you can get that from a person. We shouldn't just like ban books from because that makes you like a lesser entrepreneur if you've read loads of books. Like, no, it makes you more schooled, probably with more wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't let it get in the way of executing. Don't just read books all day and then not do anything. It's
action plus the knowledge is
action plus knowledge. Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
So I think that's a good tip actually. So you thought about what you're passionate about, which is sneakers. You thought about what's the gap in the market. So what is my current issue with that passion that I have? And then you acquire the skills to launch it. So the WordPress and stuff like that. So I always think it's really important to figure out what your passion is because a lot of people are lost. Like, what business should I do? Forget about the money. What are you interested in doing? What could you do every day without getting paid? And try and turn that into your business.
So there's that. That's a common thing, right, that people say. And I think the way I can explain it best is when I was doing those sales jobs, my only goal was to make as much money as possible. I was not passionate about most of them. That's the raw, honest truth. I just was like, I've left school. My parents they've been affected by the financial crash, got no money. I've got no money. Things are looking pretty bleak right now. I need to make as much money as possible to look after myself and look after them. How do I do that? Okay, right. I'm just going to grind it out. But that also led to me partying and relieving that stress because I wasn't liking what I was doing. So I think the very tough thing about something that you're not passionate about is it is possible, but what comes with that is the cost of your mind. And that makes it much harder. And you're much more likely to act out and eat bad and not train and go out drinking because you're in the struggle of like, I really don't like doing this. Some people are better at it than others. But then when I started the Sole Supplier and I loved sneakers, I loved the internet, it was just like, this is easy right now. I'm just loving it every day. It's just momentum.
And you're probably doing more hours on that than you were in recruitment.
Yeah, maybe it was like 7 p.m. till midnight, I'd work on the Sole Supplier and then in recruitment. So it's probably like, not quite, and a bit at lunch. It's easy when you're passionate. It just flows. Time flies. 10 years I've been in business. Time's flown.
Right.
That's crazy to me. Bro, I couldn't stay in jobs, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here almost saying next year will be 10 years. And that is crazy to me.
Yeah, because I was thinking, the launch of business takes so much focus and attention and patience. And for someone like you, it's probably really hard to have that. But because you're passionate about it, it made it easier.
Yeah, passionate about it and just wanted to validate that the idea worked.
Yeah.
That like, it's like when people say gamify something, the reason everyone wants to gamify something with achievements and badges is because when someone gets that badge, it's that validation that they've done the right thing. And it was just like, can I get someone to go onto the Sole Supplier and buy a product from one of these retailers eventually? And then like the validation happened. I was like, yes, golden moment. So that wasn't about the money. It was just like, it works for others. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah. I love that, man. So in terms of launching it, the money came from the recruitment business.
Yes.
And what was the first step that you did in terms of, you built the website and then what was that?
So I very quickly, after building the website and tinkering with it, hired a freelance developer called Nicole Samani. Okay. Nicole, absolutely boss guy.
Man like
Nicole. Yeah. He was based in India. We still work with him for a bit today. And I worked with him over like a 2-year, 3-year period solidly. And I treated him like he was a UK employee ultimately. I would pay him bonuses. I was increasing his salary regularly. He was like my number one, turn stuff around super quickly. He customized and helped build out the website. And then he hired a few other people and built out his team. So me and Nicole grew our businesses over the years. Him growing his in India, me growing it here.
I love that.
And he started hiring more people. His business is called Webby Tech, if you want to check him out, right? So he's still going now. And Nicole was phenomenal in the growth of the Sole Supplier website and customizing it because it looked awful what I did, but it worked. So having freelancers whilst I was working in my job for a year and a few months was essential. Freelance content writer and a freelance developer or two helped me whilst I was working full time. I could not have done it without them because I just didn't have the time to do it.
Well, it's an investment, isn't it, to like get it off the ground?
And I just saw it like that. I was happy to dedicate some of my salary and money to hiring those people. Almost like, because we weren't making money for 9 months. So it was like, I'm happy to put this money in the hope that this works. And that, looking back on it, is something that I know from speaking to other people. It's like, it's a big step for people to not just set up the business with your own cash and work full time, but then to hire people and get into like a loss-making situation. And that is like, you've got to be solid in the way that you're managing your finances to be able to do that.
Mate, I completely understand. Obviously, with the podcast and stuff, initially you don't make any money from it, so it's all outgoing. So like, I completely understand that.
You got to know like where your finances sit and how long they can last and what's coming in, and also you got to know that you're consistent, right? Because if you're going out partying or like you mentioned Ibiza, or you don't know what money's going to get spent. Like ultimately, like you can have an idea. You might be like, I'll spend £100 that night. Oh shit, 250. You know, like how it is. So that was why for me, like it was essential to, I always say, time, money, and energy. I knew what was going in and out of the bank. I knew what time I had because I told everyone I'm not going out. And I knew how much energy I had because I wasn't drinking and I was training.
So you're very disciplined.
Very disciplined, very stoic with my approach of how to do things. Polite, calm, collected at that time. And it worked. It worked.
I love it, man. So you launched the website and initially, so it basically was content that you did and use your SEO skills to kind of rank on Google.
Just the same stuff over and over again. Man, it's boring when you do the same stuff over and over again. Like the success in that regard looks boring. If you looked at it on the tin, all I would do every day was write articles in the blog, post them and schedule them to Twitter, reshare old ones, look at rankings in Google. Same.
Every day.
For like 9 months, 12 months. That was it. So that's not glory. That's not fun. That was hard. It was like point of burnout, working and doing that after like that 9-month period, and we still hadn't made any money. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So it was really difficult. Like, and that's just not, it's not fun. It's not what it paints a picture as an entrepreneur to be. But how you become successful with anything, I believe, is you need to find the system that works best. So can you describe each part of that system with one word?
Yeah.
And then can you just repeat the system over and over again? Everything that you do you should be able to systemize. You should be able to break it down. And for a lot of these things now, we've got like good people to learn the systems from. If it's like content creation, if it's marketing, if it's development.
Yeah.
So I've always believed in the power of like, if I don't know how the system works, can we find someone great that does? And a good example of that recently is, because I don't know loads in business, right? Didn't go to uni, I've first business.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn a lot, and I've learned a lot from other people. Amanda Colpoys was one of the biggest learnings recently. She came into our business and development team. She audited the way we were doing things in the development team, and she helped restructure, coach our team members, and like post-implementation plan over like a 3 to 6 month period to make our development team much better, building out the right systems, building out all the right metrics. It changed everything because she knew the system. She's been doing it 15 years.
Yeah.
And when you see a system in action work, you're like, wow, how things change.
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, it's always been about like, what is the system to help you grow. But
and I think that's a good point as well. It's people so important, like figuring out, okay, what, as you said, what are the systems, and find someone that's better than me at doing them.
Yeah, man, I believed in that. As much as I've been like quite full of, I will say ego in the early days, like blind optimism, quite like I know everything. I was always have that side to me that was like, I'm happy to get other people and learn from them.
Yeah.
And I think I've got that from books myself. Like I read loads of books, man, over the years.
Yeah.
And I've got that from people like, you know, like you just said, Jamal, it's like, if you don't know something, hire someone better than you. I don't want to be in a team of people that I think I know everything in.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be in a gym where I'm the biggest man in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be in a position where you feel a little bit like I'm a bit uncomfortable and I need to like step my game up.
Yeah.
To learn more.
100%.
Yeah.
It's so true, man.
Yeah, it's not a nice position sometimes. You like, I've stepped in rooms with people where I'm like, shit, I don't know shit here.
Is it?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'll give you an example of that as well. First meeting we ever had with JD Sports. We had been doing well for them, driving them sales. And JD Sports are known in the industry to be like quite hard-nosed and quite ruthless with their approach to business.
Okay.
And it doesn't make them bad, it just makes them do business in their way.
Yeah.
Shout out JD as well, right? They're a good partner today. But when I had that first meeting with them, I think I was 25 years old. And what I say about not knowing anything when I stepped into that room, I thought I'd done some sales meetings in my past. When I was like 24, 25, whenever that age, early 20s, I stepped into that room and the boss man was late, okay? So I was dealing with two brilliant ladies who are still there today, right? And they've absolutely climbed through the JD marketing team and they're top of their game. And at the time, I was sitting with them having a nice conversation, and then the boss man walks in, and I'm not using names, right? but the people that know. And he walked in, he had been 15 minutes late, he come down, he slammed his hand on the table, he was just like, right, so what are you going to do for JD then? And it was a mad direct question like that. It's like, right, so why do you think blah, blah, blah about JD?
Yeah.
Oh, put me on the spot, and I shit myself. And
stuttering now.
Yeah, man. Like at the time, I wasn't going like training. I don't think like looking after myself as much. I didn't have much confidence. I had a bit of anxiety at the time around social settings for whatever reason. And I just melted in that seat. And I think he asked me one more question. And after 5 minutes, he got up and left.
Was this before you had the partnership? Was this like the first meeting with them? Or?
This was a little bit into the partnership to try and like scale it a bit.
Yeah.
And I look back and I realized that I wasn't ready for that mentally. I wasn't ready for it in terms of the knowledge that I had. I didn't prepare for it. I didn't prepare for the meeting like I should have. Yeah. And the two people that I was meeting with in the room, they were like really kind of like good cop, bad cop. Yeah. That taught me so much. But it also taught me that I need to step my game up. Yeah. Because if I'm dealing with like a retail tycoon like that, and he's well known, he's very good at what he does, but his approach was like direct. And I guess almost his thought was probably, we'll let him know. He's thinking, we'll let them know that we're we're the boss here.
Yeah.
Almost. And that's like an old school approach to business. But yeah, that was where you sit in rooms like that and you just realize I don't know shit in these rooms.
But that was a growth phase for you, innit? Like
growth phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick, man. So the site was launched. First check, first customer.
Yeah.
How does the business model work as well? And what was the first check like?
Yeah. So our business model to date has been mostly affiliate marketing model. So we work with 40 different retailers. From Nike to Adidas to Foot Locker to ASOS to New Balance, and we drive those guys traffic and revenue. So we drive those brands, let's say 40 different retailers and brands, over 60 million a year annually in revenue to them. So in the UK, we're prolific with the way that we work with these brands. We're one of the biggest content affiliates. The first biggest is Money Saving Expert, and we're the second biggest for those brands.
What for trainers?
Money Saving Expert as a content site, an affiliate as a business, which you are huge. Money Saving Expert, which is Martin Lewis. I don't know if you know.
So you're the second biggest affiliate.
Second biggest affiliate for content in
any industry
in the UK. Yeah,
that's mad.
For some of these as well. For content, which is important because there's voucher code sites which are to some degrees bigger.
Yeah.
But so that's how it's worked. Building great partnerships with these people, not selling the products ourselves, building all of the content, letting people know what's good, where they can buy it.
So how did you get the brand partnership in the first place? Because you don't know anyone.
So you can sign up digitally.
Okay.
But we couldn't sign up to a lot of them until 3 to 6 months in, because they want to see that you've got a good platform first. Affiliate partners like JD or Nike or anyone want to see that you're legit and that you're putting out good content and that you're not just trying to get like bad customers in a bad way. Because there's a lot of people that do that. Yeah. For instance, people that run bot sites that secure trainers via bots tried to use affiliate links over the years. So they will get like 100 pairs with a bot that they've built, and they'll use an affiliate commission from the retailer, and then they think the retailer is going to pay them for botting their site commission. Yeah. Crazy.
And they don't know you're using bots.
Exactly. Right. And then all of a sudden they're getting all these sales and they're like, there's some stuff that goes on. So you've got to be a good affiliate.
Yeah.
But what we're pivoting more to now is that was all about retail. How do you get your shoes at retail? Last year we launched the Sole Market, which is the fastest way, the best way to buy on the secondary market. So that's for people to list their products, sellers. We verify the sellers and we verify the products. So unlike other marketplaces, we verify and KYC our sellers.
Oh, okay.
So if you miss them at retail, now you can go on our marketplace and you can get them from verified sellers.
So is that a manual thing? How do you verify? Oh, they send in proof of them.
It's all digitally done.
Yeah.
Online, they can send in their details and we verify that using APIs with the right platforms.
That's amazing, because I've bought a few stuff. Like I bought some Balenci's last year actually.
Yeah.
And they looked almost identical, and it had like a kind of replica authenticity certificate. It was fake.
Where was it from?
I can't remember now. I think eBay.
Okay.
Yeah, eBay. And I just got scanned. I couldn't even return it back to them.
Yeah. So this is the thing, like it all starts with the seller ultimately. Like if we think that in-hand verification works by, say, you buy it off the seller sends it to the verification center. We don't do this in hand, right? But then there's people in the verification center authenticating. If a power seller, and there's loads of them in the UK, they're buying products, they're verifying them all in hand.
Yeah.
You know, so basically you just need to know who are the biggest sellers. And I'm not saying it's just for big sellers. We work with a lot of individual sellers. But if you verify the seller, you've done a lot of the work.
Yeah, true.
To understand the products because they're already doing it.
Yeah.
So what we're starting with this big network of verified power sellers. And then it's like, how do we get the individual 1 or 2 people as well on the platform that just want to sell their Yeezy that they've got from 10 years ago? They might not want a KYC.
Yeah.
And there's another thing that we're doing for that. But you get your products with Sole Market basically the next day compared to 3 weeks on some of the other marketplaces. There's ups and downs with the way we do it, but ultimately it's quicker and the sellers get a faster payout and there's more money for them.
Yeah. Man, I love that. The business model is sick as well. It does sound like it's low investment. So it sounds like but I guess it's probably a lot of things in terms of like paying for staff and.
Yeah, well, it was low investment at the start, but naturally like we scaled, we've got, creative, we've got acquisition team, we've got developers, we've got strategy, we've got growth.
Yeah.
So yeah, 40 person team now, and it's I reinvest everything. I'm happy to just keep running it at break even or a small loss to make sure that we're investing in the team and the company growth.
But it's profitable.
Yeah, like if we want to change a few things to not be in full growth mode all the time. We've grown year on year for 9 years, apart from Q1 this year. But we've grown year on year for 9 years, self-invested every year.
Mad.
Every year, the revenue.
Yeah.
And that's because we just keep reinvesting. And if you're dealing with companies that are VC backed, I think you got to go all in. You can't just be one of these people that's like sitting back. I've seen companies in our industry do it and they've fallen behind.
Yeah.
They're self-invested and they haven't reinvested.
Yeah.
And they're just taking money out of the business, buying this, buying that. And they wonder why their businesses don't compete.
I mean, it's tempting though. Like you might make your first million. It's like, oh, let me go and buy a McLaren and
100%.
stunt.
Yeah, it is. But I think that's the big problem with the world.
Yeah.
Because what is it that you think that you're getting from that McLaren? All right, so if you just run it real quick in your head, it's like, if you're single, you might think you're going to get girls when you get that McLaren, right? That's maybe one small part. It might be a way in. Yeah. You might think, what else is it for? It's like you're going to feel good in the McLaren. But trust me, you feel good in an Audi S5. Yeah. Trust me, you feel good in a Mercedes C63.
Yeah.
Trust me, you feel good in a Mercedes C or E-Class coupe with the top down. The feeling that you feel in the E-Class compared to the feeling that you feel in the McLaren is marginal. So I always know, like I've had nice cars.
I think it's when you're younger, you have like an idea of what it means to be successful, and it's like flashy car, the mansion somewhere out in the countryside, whatever. And it's like you're always driving towards that lifestyle. But then I guess when you get it, it's like, hold on, this isn't what the value is for me. Like,
well, it's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And it's like I've come to realize over the years, it's like it's about how you feel with things. And I think like if you've got a McLaren at the cost of your business, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
If you've sold your business and you can go and buy a McLaren and sit and drive around the country, you're feeling 100. Like, yeah. But if you know that you're buying a McLaren and you've got people to invest in and people to hire and you've done it at the cost of that, that's not a great feeling in the McLaren. Buy the E-Class. It's a really tricky one, that conversation. But yeah, I do think it's all about we're trying to make ourselves feel good.
Yeah.
And the way to feel good is just there's a basics in life. Place that you like, a car that you like, you know, relationships that you have that you love. And then it's like ability to buy a gym membership and good food.
Yeah.
That's 90%.
Yeah.
And then the rest is just like, you know, the things like the extra car, the C63, the McLaren, the Lambo, the mansion, the pool, the home gym.
Yeah.
These are all small extras. But the basics.
But saying that, you must have had like a mad purchase that you had when you first saw a bit of money coming in. Did you splurge on anything or like?
I have, yeah. Like in terms of like clothes, man. I'll be real with you. I haven't been a big splurger.
I've heard you got a mad sneaker collection.
No, bro. I did.
Oh, you sold it?
No, it got stolen. Yeah. So my sneaker collection got stolen.
People steal trainers. What?
Yeah. So actually, like 6 years ago, let's say, it was in a lockup in Woolwich.
Yeah.
And it got stolen. A lot of the boxes, they were all left in the right places and the shoes were gone. Yeah, so I had 250 pairs stolen. So that was like my OG collection.
Yeah.
But I'll be real with you, I haven't splurged in that way. I've bought cars. I've had a few different cars.
Yeah.
I've got my property. It's like I'm all in on the business.
Yeah.
I'm long-term vision.
Yeah.
There's going to be people listening to this that are like, well, you can't afford to do it. It's like, if you think like that, that's fine. But you can also think like, what's the long-term vision of what I'm trying to do? We've got a team of 40 people. We've got offices in Shoreditch. We've been going in business 10 years. There's a level of finances that the company have, but the point is they're all wrapped up in the investment of the company.
Yeah.
Because we're playing the long game. I don't care about those short-term things because it's about what's in here. Am I content and happy each day? Yes, when I'm doing the right things for myself. Training, sleeping right, having good relationships with people around me.
Yeah.
You know, that's the 90%.
Yeah.
So I know from having certain nice things and the way it feels is so temporary.
Yeah.
It's so temporary.
No, it's so true, man.
Like splurging on clothes. Like I've done that, man. Like I said, I took 5 bags to the charity shop. I bought lots of nice clothes, lots of expensive clothes over the years. What does it really do for the happiness? ultimately.
Yeah.
Like watches and things, like what do they really do?
It quickly disappears, isn't it? Like the novelty of a new car or whatever.
It does, because it's how you feel. It's like, are you training right? Are you eating right? Are you sleeping right? Do you have a purpose? If you nail those things, that's it.
Yeah.
You're going to get up every day. You're going to be happy most of the time.
So true, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's completely true, man. We're going to get into some of that in a second as well. So bringing it back to the business, say like someone wanted to start a similar business in a different industry and they've got no experience and limited cash. How do you think they get from like 0 to something profitable?
Limited experience, limited cash.
Yeah, so they like just come out of university or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, they like cars.
You need to get cash. How are you going to get cash quickly is what I'd say.
Yeah. How much cash do they need?
Not quickly, but it depends on the level of your idea, right? So I will say that if you start a business as a first-time entrepreneur in a state of stressed cash finances, your business will be stressed and you will change the way you do things to account for your lack of cash. And I see people do that a lot.
Yeah.
And I've experienced that. In the last 10 years, there's been moments where the business funds have been low. And the decisions I've made as a result have not been the smartest ones, because I know what I'm making the decisions based on. It doesn't mean that you should have a crazy amount of cash, because you also make decisions from the wrong place.
Yeah.
So that's why I find this happy medium, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, because I've invested in certain businesses and like I've had too much money to put behind it. I've just ended up spending on things I don't need to spend on.
Yeah, that's the illusion, right? You're like, oh, I've got this, I can spend this, and this. And you don't necessarily objectively look at all the things you can spend on.
Yeah,
it's a bit more. Yeah, so I've done that as well, where we've done that with hiring in the past, where it's like we don't quite build out the case for hiring. And then it turns out that in a few months, that person ends up changing their job role. They're a good person, luckily, and they do something else. But it wasn't, like you said, almost thought out.
Yeah.
But experience is everything. We've got social media now. You could reach out to 10 people a day on social. 10 people that you admire and follow. I do this still to this day. I reach out to people if I like what they do. I send them a message. Good to connect. Love your content. I love this video for this reason. Be specific. I saw this video. I like this tip. It was great. Just do that. What have you got to lose?
Yeah.
That's one thing, because then you might get some meetings with the right people.
I think podcasting is such a great, I know you got your own podcast, such a great way to meet people as well. And then build as you said, build the contacts 100%. And stuff. Yeah.
Because it's like what you said at the start as well. It's like we might get inspiration from the person or the book. Or,
yeah.
So it's like dedicating time every day to generating insight. How do you generate insight? You don't generate insight by just scrolling Instagram. Unless your feed's very curated, that might be a way.
Mine is not. Mine's all like gym stuff and like.
Yeah, similar, man. I've tried my best to curate it, but Instagram's still feeding me all sorts of rubbish.
Bullshit,
right? Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah, dedicated time like books, people, consuming good YouTube content that's focused. Just learn it, man. Just because you have to practice what you want to be good at.
Yeah.
You can't just think yourself into wisdom. You can't just think yourself into experience or knowledge.
Yeah.
You have to dedicate time each day to that craft. And if that requires an hour or two of dedicated learning and insight, trust me, over a year, your brain will be like full of ideas.
That's so true, man. So say I'm into football then. So like I would try and curate that knowledge, expert insight on football. Then I'd start putting out blog posts on my website. And then I'd factor in the SEO content for rankings.
Yeah. SEO is still hugely important.
Okay.
We still generate around 20% of our revenue from Google for free. Just by all the products ranking.
Yeah.
We're competing with retailers. It's really difficult, but Google's still a great source of free traffic. TikTok as well.
Yeah.
Create TikTok content every day, regularly. Be the expert in your field.
Yeah.
And what you said though about if you like football, you need to be above the level of like where you can find things that other people aren't seeing. You know, like, because I look at football content, I'm like, that's mad they thought of that. But ultimately, that's just a guy that knows it for 2-3 years well.
Yeah.
And he can see the nuances easily.
Yeah.
It's like that mastery thing. If he's done so much repetition every day that he just looks at a game and he sees stuff that me and you or me can't see.
So where would you say to go to find this kind of insight then? Would you say Twitter?
It's got to be targeted. It's like you've got to buy books from the right people.
Yeah.
Don't buy books from like someone with lack of credibility. Buy it from someone that you trust.
Yeah.
Go to good YouTube channels where they're really informative, educational videos. You know, like, just go be deliberate about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Courses. I used to spend money on courses when I was younger.
Yeah.
Trying to learn about video, trying to learn about WordPress.
Yeah.
If I'd find a course for £100, I'd buy it. I wouldn't worry about, because I was like, if I was going to spend £50 on booze, I'd definitely spend £50 on this course.
Yeah.
That was the mentality, man.
Yeah, and I spent thousands on courses.
There you go. Like, but that's a switch, because some people don't think like that. They won't want to spend that money.
Yeah.
Or it's like some people with app subscriptions, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna call my missus Taz out. Love you to bits, but you won't spend on certain app subscriptions, right? And it's good for your life. And me and her have a little like a funny argument.
Oh,
about
she got
it.
a business as well.
No, she hasn't. And ultimately, I'm just joking around a bit, because we just had this conversation this week. She's like, I don't want to buy this subscription. I'm like, but it's £10 a month and it's going to be good. She's like, yeah, but
no, but saying that, you end up having hundreds of subscriptions.
This is what she said. You sound like her.
Yeah.
This is what she says. She's like, then I'll forget about it and I only want to use it for this one feature.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I just think on that note, it's like distinguishing the difference between, I would have spent £10 going to like the local shop and buying chocolate for the night, or like, you know. And so it's like, why would I not spend this just for this moment?
That's how they get you though, man.
Yeah.
Netflix, like I got like 20 different subscriptions, man. I'm like, how has it become this amount of money every month?
Yeah, or like the Amazon Prime ones where they're, you know, like you sign up to the channels within Amazon Prime. It's like Stars.
Yeah.
You know, like, do you watch Power? It's like the Stars subscription. Then you've got the Paramount subscription. Then you've got, I'm like, I was reviewing them the other day. I was like, I'm paying another £30.
Nah, mine's like £50 a month now.
Okay. What, for Prime?
Yeah, all these different like channels and stuff. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Mad.
But you are right. That is how they hook you. So you have to be careful. But ultimately, getting more experience, not being afraid to spend on that, reaching out to people, doing deliberate work each day to further get you more insight.
Can you give us any insight into the kind of like the best month you've had, or like in terms of not profit, but like turnover?
Yeah. So the best month we ever had was, I think we made just over 800,000.
Wow.
And that was about a year and a half ago.
That's mad.
And that was as a result of COVID. People realized after stopping spending for 3 weeks, which was really scary, because I'm telling you, like, I've seen revenues drop for whatever reason, because people stop spending. Rightly, they're planning for their families, right? But when COVID happened, people, like, the revenues went like that for 2 weeks.
It went down.
Oh, like crashed, because the fear in society was so bad when the lockdown happened that people were like, the world's ending. It felt like that.
Yeah, no, it did. Yeah,
there was mad conspiracies going around. Like people were like, this is going to happen. Then the banking system's going to crash. Everything's going to go wrong. You're like, what? Fuck. Yeah, man. I got feared up at points. I was like, this is crazy. Like, what are we in for?
Yeah.
And then people realized after that 2 weeks that actually we're going to be locked in our homes and we're going to get furlough, some of us. And for some of us, we're going to probably end up working less because we're just at home. And we're not going on holiday, and we've got a lot more money, a lot of people. It's like all the data showed this reflectively as well.
And we didn't know how long it was going to last.
Exactly, right? So people just started saving money. And then after like a month or two, people just started spending on stuff around the home, clothes. And then our business just went crazy for a year.
Mad.
Which I was just so surprised at.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like the fake bubble of COVID and what that did for businesses. And now, like I said, this is the first time we haven't grown year on year. It's been really tough, 2023.
I think the whole economy has been tough, to be fair, all the industries.
Yeah, because of people's confidence, and rightly so, again, they should be planning for their families and their immediate stuff, not spending on clothes and trainers.
Yeah.
It's been tough. But that was because after the lockdown was so good because people had money, and then they're like, oh shit, now the economy's crashing. So it's peaks and troughs. I roll with all of it.
Yeah.
I just keep trying to do the same things, which is keep doing the actions each day, keep trying to look after the team to make sure we're in a good place, and keep trying to do what's right for the customer.
Yeah.
So during like a recession, how can we give back more to them? How can we make them laugh more? So we've been creating more humor-driven content, more like honest takes on shoes, podcast style clips.
Is that why you started the podcast?
Again, like what the ones on this main Sole Supplier channel. Yeah. Again, recently. So people don't want to be sold to constantly during a recession. They're like, please stop selling to me.
Yeah.
They still want to buy some stuff, but not as much.
Yeah.
They want discounted. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Crazy times in business, man. And there's times where you absolutely, you learn so much about yourself and your emotions and how to deal with things. I've got a lot better at that. But there's been times where I've lost my head, where you think something crazy is going to happen.
Yeah.
Like that COVID thing was the last time I properly like really worried that I was going to lose everything.
Yeah.
But thankfully, like, that hasn't happened in quite a long time. That feeling, because I think the more that feeling happens, the more you recognize it.
Yeah.
And you learn not to make a hasty decision based on that feeling. Yeah,
that is true. And then, because obviously I know you're quite into your fitness and stuff. What would you say is like a success tip for like someone who wants to build that kind of wealthy mindset, basically?
Like, fitness for me wasn't an easy road.
No.
So I couldn't run at school. I skipped cross country. I couldn't play rugby. I was scared because my ears were cold. I wore a scrum hat on the wing.
Is it?
Yeah, people were laughing at me. I couldn't play football, man, either.
I didn't like rugby for that reason, man.
Yeah,
it was always in like November when it was like snowing and like.
Bro, I was soft at school, man. Like, I did not want to do any sport because I was scared, right? So it's just like, it was embarrassing for me, right? I didn't go gym at school, and I didn't step foot into a weightlifting gym probably until I was like 20, really. Like, I just was not into fitness. And then I think I did like a couple of runs, like 5K runs. I was like, okay, quite like this thing. And then I ended up doing like a Tough Mudder, like a lot of people end up doing. And then I just started getting the bug a little bit.
Yeah.
And I started to learn, okay, training for me is building my confidence. So if I want to stand tall and be stronger in a room where I find pressure, I need to be in shape. I need to be training. I need to be doing these tough things. And for me, I linked like the challenges, the tough things, which were like races. And it now is turned into like I was doing triathlons and high rocks and more trickier things. That for me is like, it pulls everything together in life to make me a better person. Makes me sleep, makes me target my sleep better because I know I need to eat the right food. Sometimes at the detriment of relationships because you're not as energetic sometimes in the evenings.
Yeah.
If you're going all in on training and work, sometimes Taz will be like you're a bit tired, are you all right? Maybe you need to ease off a little bit because you're going at it full time. She's like, you know.
Mad.
Yeah. So, but it's everything, man.
That's crazy. Because I follow David Goggins. Like, I think he's such an inspiration, man. But he said he does like 20-mile runs in the morning.
I love Goggins, yeah.
And he said he uses it to like almost build the armor for the day. So like to build your mindset and the strength. I think it's so important to build the resilience in your mindset to push through the day. Like, I love, because he's someone that's really inspirational.
Yeah, I love Goggins. I've read both of his books. So I'm on the second one now. And that is a book I haven't been reading as much in recent years, but his second book I've made the effort to look at and buy and like get into. So I just love the way he talks.
Yeah.
If you watch Goggins' videos, he talks the same in his books. He uses all the swearing, all of the direct language. Goggins writes in his way, and you read it, and it's like Goggins is talking to you. You're like, fuck, I need to act now. Put this book down and go for a run. Right? It's not one I can read before bed, really, because it fires me up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he says like, "Oh, who's gonna carry the boats?
Who's gonna carry the boats and the logs?
They don't know me, son."
That's the classic video.
Yeah.
But I think people get. I use that word like I was soft at school, and that's off the back of Goggins, right? We've got a few of us have got a friend, a group, a workout group. I've never shared this actually, but I like this because this is really important in my life.
Yeah.
We've got an accountability group. It's called Don't Be Soft. This group between a few friends, right? And the purpose of the group, and it's off the back of Goggins' comment about like stay hard,
yeah.
And it's like the group functions in this way: you post what workouts you have to do at the start of the week, to in this group and for friends, right? And then you have to do the workouts and post them as you do them. And if you don't complete the workouts, you have to pay 40 quid into a pot. Yeah. So it's accountability financially and because you don't want to let your friends down. And sometimes this happens.
Yeah.
And then there's reasons why you can or can't get out of it sometimes, but we're not that lenient with the reasons.
I love that, because Like for me, I kind of struggle with the gym. Like when I go like 6 days a week, but then I go for like a month without doing any training because there's no accountability. So having that kind of team around you is so important, like to kick you up the arse, really.
Yeah, man. And like you see other people doing stuff, people post their workout, you're like, I want a bit of that. I want to try and do that. Oh, you lifted that. Or it's like you posted that. So it's kind of like the Strava setup with the running app, but in a really close-knit circle of people that you trust and want to be accountable to. So I'd say like one of the, like you said, biggest things for fitness is accountability and having races to go to, something that is on the calendar that you know you're doing.
Yeah.
That creates accountability.
Yeah.
And if you put that out there in the world, I'm doing a high rocks.
Yeah.
And you're going to train, and then you get your accountability group. This is the same as everything. You've got people around you doing it. You've got a deadline to hit. You've got much more accountability.
Yeah. That's so true, man. And that's kind of something you can use in business as well. Like
exactly
having the target set.
Yeah, it's like I love the analogies of the gym versus business. It's like I was talking to Miles, who's our head of product delivery in terms of the products that we sell on site, and we're training a lot together right now, and we're just drawing so many parallels between the gym. And one of the biggest ones right now is just like the systems. You've got to build systems to be successful in business. And if you want to build muscle, you need a good system to build muscle in the gym. And that system is going to be the same thing over and over again over a long period of time. And what else do you need? You probably need some people that are also into that system as well, that are going to help you be more accountable to the system. And then every kind of 4, 8, 12 weeks, you're going to review the system and you're going to see, am I building muscle? Is it working? It's exactly the same in business. And each day you need to do the reps and the volume to get to the end result, which is the muscle. And the muscle comes as a product of the system. If you focus only on thinking about muscle only, you're probably not going to do the right actions each day. It's the same in business. You need to do the right things each day to get the byproducts at the end. If you wake up every day and just think about money, 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 and not the customer, you're not going to do the right things each day.
Not at all, man.
So it's like so many, I love that parallels between gym and business.
100%. And I think motivation is important as well, because you assume, like, I would look at you and think you're motivated all the time.
No,
but
it's
I'm
not
sure
true.
A lot of the times your motivation isn't there, but your discipline keeps you going.
Bro, Goggins says it how it is. Like, I wake up some mornings, I resonate with this heavily when he says this. I wake up some mornings and I just feel like shit. I don't want to do what I want to do. It takes work to get myself to the place I need to work, to function properly. And there's odd days where I can't do it. And we've got something at work called a duvet day, where you can just take an unquestionable day.
Oh, sick.
So it's like 2 or 3 days, maybe 4 days this year because of what's gone on with the recession and the cost of living, where you can just phone up in the morning and say, I can't do it today. And we've offered this to people because we understand that with the ongoing nature of always on Slack, WhatsApp, communication, sometimes people feel fucking overwhelmed. So a duvet day is just that, when you feel like that day comes where you just can't do it. And they happen no matter how resilient you are. Sometimes the stars don't line up. You've had awful sleep, bad food, if you're going out boozing, whatever else, and you just you're just
so they can use it any time they want.
They can use it any time. And
just to kind of recharge. And
then we've got like a tool called Spill, where people can get free therapy. They can ask questions. We do weekly check-ins with people. So we try and focus on the mental health of people, and we do that intuitively with people as well, because like the world now is full on. Like, we've got stimulus from everywhere, and it's difficult sometimes for people. It's a lot to take in. Like, phones are constantly blasting stuff at you.
It's hard to switch off.
Like the news and media are constantly like, buy into this fear campaign. You know, there's this war, there's this going on, there's this virus that's coming. It's just like, oh, I just want to focus on trying to be the best version of me and my family. Stop blasting all this shit at my it's killing my mind.
I got the BBC app, and it's so dramatic when it goes off. It's like, this person's
surprised
died.
You've got that. Well, have you got notifications as well?
Yeah. And you know the sound is like really intense. It's like, man, give me a break for one day.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, cool. So looking at the future now, what do you think is the future for Sole Supplier? Like in terms of, we're talking about NFTs. What's the plan?
So the plan right now is we want to conquer more of the retail market. So if you need a pair of trainers, you go to the Sole Supplier first, because we've got all the retailers. And then if your shoes sold out, you go on the Sole market. for your resale or secondary. Exactly. I didn't even think of that. But the secondary experience. Okay. So we help you from end to end. Understand what's cool, buy at retail, sell your product if you want, or buy secondary if you can't get it at retail. So it's like end-to-end sneaker experience. To do that, we need a fair bit more money to put the brand awareness into it and hire a few more people. And as we just got back to a point of stability, I hope over the next year to 2 years, we can truly conquer that mission of when you think of shoes to buy, you think of the Sole Supplier first before you go anywhere else.
So would you be like a reselling platform then? Or you are a reselling platform?
Yeah, end to end. It's just like you need shoes at retail, you want inspiration, you come here. You want them secondary, you come to Sole Market.
Wow,
all in one platform. Sick. The only supplier, the Sole Supplier.
That sounds good, man.
Yeah.
And I saw Nike recently launched like their new NFT platform. I think it's called Swoosh or something like that.
Yeah, looks really cool.
So I think from what I saw anyway, I only quickly branched over it. It's like digital apparel, digital stuff. Have you thought about releasing like an NFT for Sole Supplier?
We did when crypto was popping.
Yeah.
But it's not quite right now. And I think the biggest thing in business for me is like extreme focus on what works and going after that. So that's what I'm really like careful of now. As a someone with ADHD, I can change my focus, and I have done over the years. My senior team have to pull me back and say, look, great idea, let's keep focused. And nowadays I'm a lot more aware of it. So yeah, NFTs are good, but we've got very clear vision and focuses for how we build the company, and we need to stick with those. And Ben from Lux Collective, we got 10 years difference in our age, but he's like a good friend now and we get on great. We talk about this a lot because he's coming to me and saying different ideas. And I'm like, bro, listen, I've done stuff exactly like that. You've got so many good opportunities right now because the business is growing so fast. But don't forget what you're so good at and keep focusing on it. And I just see it constantly. It's pushed again, isn't it? It's like, you need 7 different streams of income. You need all these to diversify. It's like, no, trust me, the ones that actually truly succeed are the ones that know their craft and keep repeating it and iterating to make it better. And that's where I've fallen off before. So I've seen a shiny new opportunity and gone after it. And it doesn't pay off, and we've lost sight of the main vision. So ultimately, focus is key right now. Yeah.
Because I think as well, like when people say multitasking, I think multitasking isn't that effective. Well, for me anyway, I think focusing, as you said, on one avenue, one niche, being the expert at it is the best way to go.
Yeah, it's fun as well.
Yeah.
It's nice when you can just get up and you know what you need to do each day in that field.
Yeah.
It creates actually more freedom.
Yeah.
It's a really weird thing to say, but when you've got like your thing that you're focused on, your system, you can just be creative within that.
Yeah.
If you've got multiple opportunities, it creates chaos, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order to service those.
That's so true.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't have them, but there's a lot more work in relation to having multiple opportunities than people think.
Yeah.
And management.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think about like the sneaker reselling market? Do you think there's opportunities for like young entrepreneurs, or is there no point trying that?
Very competitive now. I think if you've got like 200, 300 pounds and you're hoping to buy one sneaker that's going to go up in value, it's risky. The same as if you've got 200, 300 pounds and you're hoping to buy one stock or one crypto that's going to go up in value, it's risky. In all competitive markets, there is the same level to most degrees of risk. And there's always the over-optimism with crypto, with sneakers, with this.
Yeah.
It's just one to be careful of. But if you've got a few grand and you're looking to buy a portfolio of 10 different sneakers and diversify and hold them, there's an investment there potentially. But don't see it as the quick win, because stuff can change. A collaborator of Nike, which has happened recently, can come out as a cult-like follower, a cult-like collaborator, and he can get banned completely. And then the shoe goes like that.
Yeah.
Or that might happen, this creator that collaborates with Nike, the price might go up.
Yeah.
So you never know. You might be holding something that all of a sudden they go out of fashion, that Jordan 4, because something overtakes it. I've seen it happen. And people are still holding it because it's been going up, and then it goes like that.
I mean, I didn't know it was that volatile, because it seems like I knew Yeezy's always going to sell and like go up in value, but I guess.
Bro, what I love about StockX is the price history. That's a really good thing. StockX, great platform, right? their data insights are interesting. Look at the price of Yeezys over the last few months and tell me the volatility is not crazy.
Flip.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Like with all this Kanye stuff that's been going on, it's been like,
yeah. But I guess a site like yours can help them like predict.
Yeah,
I guess you're covering that on the news, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but still, it's difficult.
Okay.
Young entrepreneurs, I would say, with anything, you need to have enough experience to make some rational decisions. Some rational decisions.
Yeah.
Don't just listen to the man on YouTube or something that's telling you this is a good investment, because most of the time it was good for them at that moment, but it's not good now.
Yeah, or they haven't even done it themselves.
Perhaps, and they're just reiterating information.
Yeah.
If you're hearing about the investment at this point and everyone's talking about it, you've missed the opportunity.
It's too late.
Yeah, and I've experienced that in crypto.
Yeah, same.
You know?
Yeah. It's mad. So in terms of like the best opportunity then, would you say to go down the content marketing route, or?
I think if you're someone that's self-reflective and could talk on camera, there's a low risk but high return opportunity doing content for a year. Content around something that you're interested in. You can film. iPhones are so good now.
Yeah.
There's so many good tutorials out there.
Yeah.
You could commit to doing a video a day.
Yeah.
Certain posts a day on the field of your choice, scaling your knowledge with it. The greatest example of this is this guy called maybe like Mr. Anyway, his channel's called Agent GPT.
Yeah.
30 days of him using Chat GPT, and you go on the journey with him and him learning it. This guy's absolutely blown up. It's called Agent GPT.
I think I follow him. I might follow him on Twitter.
He's filming on an iPhone. He tells you how he films. That's some of his content now.
Yeah.
He's a perfect example of like, he just wanted to learn it like everyone else. People can relate to that, and that's what he did. So I just think content for most people is so easy to get into.
I mean, people think because it's free, how do I make money? But I guess affiliate marketing, brand partnerships.
Yeah, sometimes with opportunities that are like lower risk, the immediate way to make money is not always obvious.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of some of these opportunities as well. It's like you're starting it from a point of passion and love, creating content about something you like. If you do that and you focus on the audience and the customer, the money will come eventually. That you're not just going to start getting all of this reach and views and people resonating and then no money eventually. There's always ways, if you're doing something good, to monetize that eventually.
That's a good point as well. And I was watching like a masterclass from Alex Hormozy. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
I love his content. He was basically saying delay the ask for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So just add value as long as possible, and then the reward will always come later on.
Yeah, look at Hormozy's content. He's the living example of that. You know, look at the Gary V's that have come before. It's just like, give as much away as possible.
Yeah.
Man, there's anything you could ask me on any of these podcasts. Same thing. It's like, I will tell anyone anything about how our business runs. I plan to create a lot of content about how we do things in the future to try and help people.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, people aren't going to do it in your exact way.
No.
I just think there's so much in the world to tell people and help people. We've got a mission here. We've got a duty to do it.
100%, man.
Yeah.
That's the point of the platform as well. So yeah. So just to wrap it up then, where can people find you?
They can find me on George Sullivan TSS on Instagram, George Sullivan on LinkedIn, and soon to be launching a TikTok for my personal stuff correctly. But every other channel is the Sole Supplier for all your trainer needs.
Yeah.
And hit me up if you need any help, advice. I'm always open to help people, man. So I'm here. I'm about.
Nice. We love it. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Really great having George on, and there's loads of opportunities there. Probably we'll have another one later on if you're up for it.
Appreciate that, man.
So make sure you follow The Venture Room on TikTok, The Venture Room on YouTube, and Venture_Room on Instagram. We've got some really good episodes coming up. See you on the next one.